And to do it against the Brewers, again, like, does anybody look at this Brewers team and think they're particularly scary in terms of the roster? Like, what's scary about the Brewers right now, related to the Cardinals, being honest, I'm just giving you my opinion, is that they're 6.5 games ahead. They've got a head start, but they don't have the roster that the Cardinals have. Top to bottom, I really don't believe that they do. They've got some decent hitters. They've got, Christian Yelich, obviously, their leadoff hitter for the most part. He's got a 765 OPS as we take a look at it on the screen here. Jesse Winker, they traded Colton Wong to get Jesse Winker back into the NL Central, try to recapture some of the magic that he had with the Reds there a couple of years ago. But, 622 OPS. He had a couple of hits tonight, but that's not performing at a high level. Adames has been one of their better hitters. He's their middle of their order kind of guy. OPS is below 700 right now. Rowdy Tellez is probably their best, most impactful power threat, and had a nice night tonight. Cardinals couldn't get him out. 2 for 2 with a couple of walks. His OPS is 873, but look up and down their lineup. William Contreras, the brother of Wilson, nice player, solid hitter. Brian Anderson, they just don't have the depth of the threats in their lineup that I think the Cardinals do. If we click over here, Nootbaar is going to OPS, 850 or above this year, I have to imagine. And imagine if he starts hitting with power consistently. Still sitting on 3 home runs, but he goes 2 for 4 tonight, scores 4 times, walks twice. His batting eye is elite. Lars Nootbaar, just an absolute bona fide stud as a leadoff hitter. You couldn't craft a leadoff hitter in the skill set that Lars Nootbaar has any more favorably to that role. He does it so well. Did strike out a couple times tonight, but the OPS is pushing 900 now. He's an on-base freak, quite honestly, and he could end up scoring 100 runs. I don't think that would be crazy to see from Lars at the top of the order. Okay, Goldschmidt is Goldschmidt. I mean, 2 for 3 tonight, couple of ribbies, reached base 4 times. He's going to OPS 900 or above, you have to figure. Gorman is pushing 1,000 with his OPS after a career-high 5 RBIs tonight. We go down the order. Arenado, we've talked about what he's done. He's going to OPS above 800 and probably more like 850 as long as this little streak he's on right now can push him closer to 800. He only needs a couple more days of this to be able to really be right there in the line of fire. So, again, I don't think the Brewers have a single hitter that's Arenado at the plate. I honestly don't. Tellez is really good and more of I say one-dimensional power threat. I think I looked in his average, 256. You kind of are going to sit him around there, and he's going to hit 30 bombs, and that's great. Arenado is just a more complete hitter. Contreras, for as good as things went for him behind the plate tonight, didn't do a lot at the plate, going 0 for 4, but he's going to be a 750 or above OPS guy when it's all said and done. DeYoung is still OPSing above 900. Tommy Edman had a great night, 4 for 5 with 4 runs scored. Had the home run for good measure late on. I don't know if he will OPS 778 for the season. That's where he's at right now after tonight's really great outing from him offensively. But if he's a 750 or above OPS guy, that's your 9-hitter most nights. I mean, the Cardinals are just top to bottom better than the Brewers offensively the way you look at it on paper. And we know these games aren't played on paper because if they were, the Cardinals would not have lost as many times as they did in April. However, I still feel like now you see an offense that's coming around. I have said however many times on this stream, on B-Shape Daily, for those who have followed me for a while, you've heard me say it. The Cardinals have the type of build offensively that could lead the league in runs scored this season, and it wouldn't surprise me. I'm talking about all of Major League Baseball. 18 tonight will definitely help pad those stats a little bit as they pursue something like that. But again, if they start to lock in offensively, it's going to be dangerous for the other teams in the NL Central. And we talk about the pitching as well. That is important. That's an important aspect of this. I still say the Cardinals are built like a team that needs to slug to win. But if you get an ace out of Jack Flaherty, which I know, premature to say this after one start, the ERA is still above 5 for a reason. Although I would say take out the 10-run outing because that is such an outlier and it's going to do so many unfortunate things to your ERA as a pitcher. Take that one out, and what are his numbers? He's probably right around Jordan Montgomery, honestly. And Jordan Montgomery's been solid. Miles Michaelis is getting better and better as time goes along. His numbers are going to begin to reflect that the longer he pitches well. And so, you've got to factor in Steven Matz, Adam Wainwright as well. But you just start to see things turning around. And so when I look at Flaherty doing what he did tonight and saying, if that continues, what does this team really have to fix? I know I got to get rid of the facial hair. It's just too much. With the other guys in the rotation, yeah, there have been some anchors kind of dragging things down, but Matz hasn't been one the last two outings. Flaherty has only pitched, or I should say, Adam Wainwright has only pitched twice and has given up 4 runs each time. But I think overall you're going to end up having Flaherty be at worst a solid middle of the rotation type of arm. Maybe others don't have that belief in Adam Wainwright as of right now, but that's kind of where I sit with him. So if Matz is getting a little better and Wainwright's going to come around and Michaelis has certainly gotten better and Montgomery has been their best pitcher outside of an outing here and there, if you have Flaherty added to that mix, suddenly the rotation looks a lot different. And I know people are not going to like to hear that because the next time somebody gives up 5 or 6 runs, it'll probably happen this week. We're back talking about the struggles of the rotation. But I think you can at least look at over the past week or so, even though there have been some short outings by guys like Michaelis, they haven't been able to get very deep. Flaherty's wasn't that great in Chicago. They're coming around as a group to where just the terrible outing, they're going to be more few and far between, and at least they're going to have these outings where they can keep the team in games. Because at times they really haven't kept the team in games. They've had the outings where they give up 4 runs in the first, and suddenly your offense doesn't have that sense of confidence that they have a chance to even bother with it tonight, which is human nature to kind of get behind the 8 ball and feel like you've got to do it all and you press, and it's an ugly situation to be in. I think the Cardinals have been in that situation several times throughout this season, and Ollie Marmol talked about tonight the shutdown inning from Jack Flaherty, not only to have a shutdown inning where, like, the definition of that is you score runs and then your guy goes out there and shuts them down, they don't score, but to do it in the way that he did, how much confidence does that add to an offense that says, hey, let's add on for this guy because we're vibing tonight? Like, that's the type of tone that a starting pitcher of Jack Flaherty's caliber, pitching the way Jack Flaherty did tonight, can bring to the table and set for the rest of his teammates. And so he does, and then immediately Paul Goldschmidt doubles in whoever the hell he doubled in there in the second inning to just keep the vibes rolling. The Cardinals scored tonight in 4 different innings. They got the runs there in the 6th inning where Nolan Gorman punctuates that inning with the bases loaded double. Up and down the lineup, really good things. Kisner with the grand slam to I just love that he got that against the position player in the 8th inning. Like, at a certain point, I was thinking, all right, we know the Cardinals won this game. I'd like to get home at a decent hour, do this stream, finish up the writing I've got to do, and get to bed. So maybe the Cardinals, you could just, like, let this one go. But as it's going along and it's getting to be, they're batting around and this is pretty cool, at that point, you're like, all right, they're bringing in a position player. Kiz has to send him deep here. And he did. Got that grand slam. He's now close to 700 on the OPS. That doesn't hurt. They all count, baby. They all count. So I was happy to see that for Andrew Kisner. But you just got to feel really good right now if you're a Cardinals fan. Don't look at the record. Like, looking at the record might make you feel a little bit sour again. But I just think with the way the last week, 8 days now have gone, you can just look across the roster and see so many signs of things improving compared to where they had been. And even though the record is what it is, the fact that nobody else is running away with this division, like, that's what's so important right now, is to win the Central. To do that, you've got to be able to catch the Brewers, right? I don't look at the Pirates as a threat. The Cubs could be sneaky. I'm not going to count them out of the playoff hunt, but I think maybe wild card at best, and they've got to have a lot of things go their way. But when you face the Brewers, you've got to take advantage of those opportunities right now and do it as quickly as possible. Like, this is a great time on the schedule for the Cardinals to be facing Milwaukee, honestly, because they've come off this road trip where they played so well, and you can try and capitalize off of that. I know the Brewers swept the Royals over the weekend. I get that. But the Brewers are the one team that I think you've got to be able to show, like, hey, we're a factor. You got to worry about us. Hi, we're the Cardinals. Like, that's what I feel like they did tonight. They put Milwaukee on notice a little bit, and now it's going to be a matter of, can you close it out, not only with a series win, but like a series sweep would go a long way as well to, making the leader of the NL Central basically be a 500 team at this point. It's not a strong division. The Cardinals, I think, have the best roster in the division, but the closer and the quicker you can make that gap disappear, the more it becomes easy to have confidence about the way the rest of the season could go. But they're not playing like a team right now that knows they're 6.5 back. They're playing like a team that's right in the mix of things and expects to be. And that's the difference that I think we've seen over the past week or so.